Hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Dr. Heather Hammerstedt here from Holist, here in my call room at the hospital between some emergency medicine night shifts. So sorry, the lighting's not as great as I would like, but I really wanted to get on here for my standard Monday Ask Me Everything in training. And so let's get into it. So I have a question for you. Do you ever get frustrated with yourself over the things you seem to do without thinking? Like maybe you find yourself neck deep in a snack bag. I'm a crunchy girl. Whenever you feel upset, or even if you're normally committed to your health goals, or maybe you drink a glass of wine or two at the end of every workday, but kind of wish you didn't. So I have some tips for you that can help. But in first, if you don't already know me, I'm Dr. Heather Hammerstedt, emergency medicine physician, lifestyle medicine physician, integrative nutrition coach. More importantly, a very humbled owner and founder of Holist and leader of our amazing team of food, mindset, and fitness coaches here. So we help people really figure out how their brains and bodies work around how to create sustainable health habits without getting into that restrict and rebel cycle, and really sustainable long-term lifetime health. So make sure you've liked this page, liked the Holist page, or have followed the Curate Your Health group so that you don't miss any tips or tricks that can help you get to the next level, because I'm always in here. I'm super passionate about evidence and empowerment and education, really as the key to getting out of this external validation, restrict and rebel cycle. Okay, so what about those mindless activities that I mentioned earlier? I have some good news for you. The things you do without thinking are learned behaviors. Why is that a good thing? It means you can also unlearn them. But how do you do this? Well, it has to do with the how and the why we form habits in the first place. So habits are simply actions you've repeated over and over in response to a trigger. After a while, they become automatic. And I'm going to get into that in a second, but I just realized I didn't ask you to do me a favor and hit love on this so it bumps it up in the Facebook algorithm. Drop a hello, a live, a replay, any questions you have, I'll come back to and answer them after the fact in between patients tonight on shift if I don't get to them live. So, okay, the habits are actions that you've repeated over and over again in response to a trigger. So after a while, they become automatic. So the trigger can be an emotion, a time of day, something that happens around you. Remember the story of Pavlovs dogs who salivated every time they heard the footsteps of the person that fed them. Because even before they saw food, they know they were about to be fed. So my dogs do this to me every single morning, okay? Now, I'm not saying we're exactly like Pavlov's dog, but a cool story is this to illustrate how it works. So basically, when you repeat an action over and over again, your brain creates a link between the trigger and the action, and then it strengthens it over time. The more that you replicate it, your body thinks you're validating it, and it gets into that unconscious cycle of just following the easiest path of less resistance, right? Because your brain, like you, wants to be lazy, right? It wants to do what's easy. It doesn't want to create new neural pathways. Your body wants to be lazy. It doesn't want to have to go get the energy that you've stored as fat and glycogen. It wants to do what it's already done, do what it knows how to do. Doesn't need to ask you any other questions. You don't need to think about it. You don't have to, you can just keep eating and giving yourself fuel. That's the brain and the body summary of what I'm talking about here. So technically, what the brain is doing is creating a pathway inside of itself that automates what you do next. So then it rewards itself with like a shot of like your feel-good neurochemicals and your hormones, right? It's like, nice job. So in our snack food example, what's the trigger? It's feeling upset. Maybe at some point in the past, you tried to distract yourself from feeling sad or lonely by eating highly palatable foods, those sweet and salty foods, with just the right amount of fat in it that they have manufactured to do this to us in the food industry, right? Well, eventually your brain is linked to the trigger, the emotion, and the action. Your brain loves habits because, as I was saying, it gets a hit of feel-good juice every time it uses the pathways it already has. So while you're heading for the snack cupboard or the wine fridge, your brain is basically running on autopilot. So meanwhile, you're busy thinking about the future, your to-do list, recapping your day, anything else. And what is your brain not doing? It's not being present in the moment. And that's a key to short-circuiting the loop. I talk a lot about mindfulness, and I'm not telling you need to become a Zen monk. What I'm telling you is that you need to start noticing yourself on autopilot and engaging in a habit that you want to quit. So it's time to be present. Ask yourself, why is my hand in the chip bag and I didn't even know how I got here? Like, how am I on my second glass of wine and I didn't really notice? Or whatever it is. So this interruption forces your brain to be mindful, present, and engaged. I've done a 70-minute free training just on mindful eating. So if this is something that you want to learn more about and dig in, I have it. I can just send you a link to it. So drop the word mindful into the comments if that's what you want. I think about it a little bit like this. So how many of you have kids, right? And I'm sure I have little kids, but I'm sure the bigger kids do this too, right? There's an emotion and there's an action. And maybe you're like this too. There's an emotion and there's an action. There's an emotion and there's an action, right? What you're trying to do when you're parenting is that you're trying to tell them, okay, there's an emotion. Don't act on it right away. Create some disparity in time between the emotion and what you choose to do about it. In grown-up words, give me a like or a love if you like this, and drop me some comments. Tell me if you're live or replay. Thank you. In grown-up moments, this is like the classic, don't send the email when you're angry, right? So that's a learned trait, right? Like my kids are still in the punch when you feel angry stage and trying to get them to create that disparity. For you, is that creating disparity today was really hard at work and I deserve that glass of wine, or I'm really frustrated right now with the kids and I'm going to hide in the pantry and eat these crunchy chips, right? So ask yourself, like, why am I reaching for the chips? The interruption causes your brain to be mindful, present, and engaged. So next time you're reaching for the junk food or the wine bottle that you don't really want or need, stop and ask yourself why, and then replace the action with something you do want to become a habit. So is that going for a walk? Is it doing a 2-minute breathing exercise? Is it going and riding your bike for 5 minutes? Is it doing a couple simple core exercises? Is it going and finding as many people as you can in your house to hug, right? What is it that you are trying to replace that emotion to action neural pathway that becomes automatic for you? So when I'm talking about the brain all the time and why I want people to be working on their body and their mind simultaneously, this is why. Just like when I'm talking about total health transformation, I'm talking about all 5 pillars of your total health transformation. Because if you just do one, it doesn't matter. So for example, with food, if you are going to restrict yourself from an entire food group, or if you are going to, only eat, 1,000 calories a day, right? You can be very strong about that for a long period of time, but you will be sabotaged by the rest of the pillars of your total health transformation that you are missing. That is your mind. That is your lifestyle. That is a handful of the other, I don't have them in front of me right now. So, but there are 5 pillars that I've come up with. And so if you don't have them all holding up like this, like if you're just working on one, it's going to crumble. If you are just telling yourself, I'm just going to work on my mindset, but you don't change your food and you don't change your habits and you don't change anything else that you're doing, it's not going to work, right? You're just going to crumble. So today, what we're talking about is creating habits that serve your goals by recognizing your emotion, delaying action, creating disparity between what you know that you want to do, what you plan to do, and how you're feeling and what you want to do because of your neural pathways. I'm not saying this is like your fault. That's the other thing I want to emphasize always, is that give me a like or your love if you agree with me, right? We have a hormonal dysregulation problem when you are struggling with weight and when you are struggling with metabolic disease. We have a neural problem because of the habits that we have come up with over, some of us, 20, 30, 40 years, right? It's not your fault when you're eating the chips. What you need to do is decide, what is my why? Why do I want to make the changes that I want to make? What are the emotions that I'm feeling? Can I recognize them and recognize the patterns that my body and my mind are kind of making me do in terms of what I'm choosing to eat, what I'm choosing to move? Being mindful, again, about those processes will really make a huge difference. So tell me in the comments, like, what habits are you trying to break? What habits are you trying to create for yourself? Like, tell me all about it, because as I said before, I'm all about empowerment, all about education, all about evidence. The things that you tell me I can A, train, do trainings on, B, help hold you accountable, C, give you strategies. So speaking of strategies, we have a couple really fun things coming up. I already mentioned that mindful webinar. I did that last October or something like that. So I do these free trainings all the time. So again, join the Curate Your Health group, Facebook group, so that you can always be apprised of when they're available. But a couple really exciting things that are coming up in the next month. I'm doing something totally different. I am going to be doing a free training in a couple of weeks that I've never done before, which is basically like kind of sharing like 3 key things that I've really only shared with clients before. I'm not going to tell you anything else because I want you to follow along, but it's going to be pretty great. The other thing, speaking of mindset, is that on Monday, we are restarting the Mindset Challenge. We did this in January. We had a huge amount of people who were participating in it. So this will be in the Curate Your Health group. If you sign up specifically for this, instead of just kind of voyeuring, then you will get additional email trainings, daily emails from me. This is a way for me to showcase all the different ways that you can approach how to change your brain around the choices that you're making around sustainable health, around sleep, mindfulness, exercise, food, weight, all the things. Not just from me, but from 5 of my Holist coaches who are on my amazing team. And so it's going to be, again, lives every night, interaction with the coaches in the comments, and most importantly, those email trainings. So this was huge in January, and I figured it's June. It's been 6 months. It's time for us to kind of recap and figure out, like, where have we gone from in the last 6 months? Where were your goals in early 2021? And where are you right now? What can you listen to in these trainings that maybe you totally missed last time because you were like in a whole different place? Like, what kind of steps have you made forward, backwards, sideways, that you're going to be able to learn more from this and take some other pointers away from these amazing people that I have on my team. So if that sounds exciting, give me a like and a love. If you want to fully participate in the Mindset Challenge that will be starting again Monday, so the 14th, I think, then drop the word mindset into the comments so that we can get you a link to sign up for you specifically. If you're on my email newsletter list with 40,000 other people, you will be getting some reminders for that through the email as well. What else? So we've covered a couple of different things. My sneak peek of this training that I can't believe that I'm going to give away for free, and the Mindset Challenge. Today we really talked about the kind of the neural pathways to break those terrible habits. We have a group program that's starting soon. So Weight Wellness Group Program, 12 weeks, daily podcast information from me around weight science and mindset around food, really helping you figure out how to take that information around neuroplasticity and weight science, really integrate it into your life specifically in a way that you are not in a restriction rebel cycle. You're just like cruising along for the rest of your life on those what works for you. And we're doing that in a group setting this time, which we don't do that often. We usually do personal one-on-one training. So if personal or if group sounds good to you, please drop the word action into the comments, and me or Erin or Tamber or Casey will reach out to you and see what you need and make sure that we can get you exactly tailored solution for you. So I am going to head downstairs and see some patients for another 12 hours. If you guys liked this, will you please just let me know in the comments? I always want to know how I can serve you better and get you more information that helps you change your life in any way you want it to be. Give me a like or a love. And remember, we've got a mindful comment for that training from last spring about how to create mindful eating habits. We have the mindset challenge, really figuring out how your brain works around making changes. That's starting on Monday. And we have a group program coming up. Our personal program enrolls every Monday, and we have so many people killing it, like 8 to 12% body weight down in 12 weeks. But most importantly, really like getting over this whole diet bullshit and getting to a point where you just know how you want to live and it doesn't feel hard. It's just the truth. It's knowledge. That starts every Monday. If you want to join today, we can still do that. So again, joining any coaching program, just drop the word action in the comments. All right, peeps, I'm going to go get some coffee. I just woke up like 10 minutes ago and head to work. Bye, everybody. See you soon.